Doesn't Javier Bardem look really stunning in Grey's Anatomy? Except that's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Or is that one him? Guys, can we double check? I've come up with a list of celebs that are often compared or taken for other stars. But some of the names on this list are really ridiculous. Let's have a look at how many of these celebs are actually brothers from another mother and sisters from another mister, and how many of them only have their humanity in common. Is that Margot Robbie or Emma McKey?
Is that Margot Robbie? Is that Margot Robbie? I thought it was Margot Robbie for a second. I bloody wish.
Well, if Emma had ponytails in this picture, you'd probably say that it was Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Even if you aren't a fan of DC Comics, you've definitely seen Margot in all sorts of compromising poses in The Wolf of Wall Street, as well as in the ice-breaking drama I, Tonya. Emma McKey may be a relatively new name to you though. She's the star of the latest Netflix show, Sex Education. Emma knows that she often looks more like Margot Robbie than Robbie herself. When asked about the comparison in the media, McKey said, "But no, it's fine. Margot Robbie is great. I hope that people will see past the physical aspects of my person and focus on my job as opposed to my looks, if that's okay with you all." Though I think Margot is the one who should be flattered here. I mean, she's mistaken for a 23-year-old girl when she's an old, haggard 28-year-old. That's pretty impressive. And if you're wondering how Margot is going to look in her 40s, well, just Google Jaime Pressly. The three of them could make a cool drama movie about three different generations of one family. So yeah, if Emma took the credit on IMDb for Margot's upcoming role as Sharon Tate in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I don't think anyone would notice. It was pretty risky for Keira Knightley to play Queen Amidala / Padme. I mean, we already had Natalie Portman. She was the iconic short-haired, semi-professional Matilda with her Ag Leon emoplant. So it was pretty risky for Keira to play a double in Star Wars. Her career might have ended right there. Luckily, an actress isn't just identifiable by her face alone. It turns out that besides her obvious similarity to Portman, Keira said that she is often being confused with Kate Winslet, and quite a few other people thought that she was actually Rachel Weisz. Knightley even had a fan take a picture with her while thinking she was Britney Spears. No matter how ridiculous that sounds, I found out that she's often compared to Anne Hathaway. I mean, is that only because they have the same hair color? Hathaway has such unique facial features. Her smile makes up about 90% of her face. If you have a friend who thought that Keira acted in Les Miserables, you should probably offer to take him or her on a ride to the ophthalmologist. Just, don't let them drive. I've already spoken about Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Javier Bardem, who might as well have been separated at birth. And frankly, I'm not jealous of Bardem's life, because both he and his spouse are mistaken for other celebs. I mean, just imagine fans tweeting that they saw Javier with another woman, when it was actually Dean Morgan happily walking down the street with his wife, and fans blowing up social media with news that Penelope Cruz is cheating on Bardem, when it's in fact Salma Hayek having dinner with her husband. Yes, Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek are often compared to one another. They acted together in Bandidos a long time ago, but to me, they don't look alike at all. They often feature on lists of celeb lookalikes, but if you look at them standing next to each other, there's clearly nothing similar about their appearance. Maybe people only mix them up because they're two of the most iconic Latinx actresses in Hollywood. And by the way, did you know that Will Ferrell is also a drummer in the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
We were tricking you that whole time. This is Chad Smith and I'm Will Ferrell, actually.
Will Ferrell and Chad Smith look strikingly similar. Will is a comedian and actor, and Chad is a famous drummer. But it's hard to say who is who right away here. And it's not made any easier by the fact that they're always joking about it. Chad said that when he first met Will a long time ago, the first thing he said was, "You are very handsome." Turns out there was a video on YouTube where Chad Smith loses it when a fan yells, "Will Ferrell" at him. Shut up! People first thought the drummer was serious, but Chad yelled "shut up" in the very same manner that Will does, and also similarly slapped the mic away. They really like each other a lot. And if you think you've seen Katy Perry without makeup, then you're probably getting her mixed up with Zooey Deschanel. Turns out that when Perry started her career as a musician, she decided to draw attention away from her real name, Katie Hudson, and to dye her hair black because she was afraid that she'd be mistaken for the actress Kate Hudson. But what a calamity! Zooey Deschanel had to go and get famous. They looked very much alike, probably because of their long, dark, wavy hair and extremely bright blue eyes. Deschanel said that she was often confused as Katy Perry throughout the 8 years that she lived in LA. As she said, I mean, it got really funny, but I met her and she was really cool, and like, we used to shop at this same store on Saturdays, this like girl shop, and yeah, she and I look alike, yes, obvious. We have the dark hair and the blue eyes, but of course, I look like Lily, I look like Natasha Khan. If you're not a big fan of either one of them, I get why they're often mixed up. They do look a bit alike. Deschanel says her daughter doesn't like it when she sings.
She's like, "Mommy, stop singing."
It sure would suck if she confused her mummy with Katy Perry. Nevertheless, there's a third wheel in this spot the difference game in the media. Looking at the photos, I somewhat get why these three get compared. But I've never had a moment where I was looking at Emily Blunt and wondered whether it was her or Deschanel. And speaking of Brits, there's no way I could leave out Daniel Radcliffe and Elijah Wood. They both played iconic characters. Harry Potter, portrayed by Daniel, and Frodo by Elijah. And they both have those never-aging baby faces. Oh, and since we've mentioned it, thank you so much for comparing me to Tom Holland on our YouTube stories. My spider sense is tingling. With love. Daniel's starting to look a bit older now, so he isn't mistaken for Elijah Wood quite as often. It was a bit disturbing for Wood, I guess, since he was being mistaken for a 13-year-old boy, even though he was the ripe old age of 27. Anyways, Elijah said that he goes to the Fantastic Fest every year, where they have a debate between two stars in a boxing ring, followed by an actual boxing match. And people have tried to get Elijah and Daniel in the same ring, but Wood ultimately quashed the idea each and every time. He didn't want to end up in a ring fighting for his place as the one true doppelganger. Daniel is often mistaken for Elijah too. He said that he was once given Wood's photo to sign at a red carpet event in Japan. Radcliffe didn't have time to explain that it wasn't him, so he simply wrote, "I am not Elijah Wood," signed Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel said that even his makeup artist working on the film Imperium thought that he was Elijah Wood. I guess Daniel does need a lightning bolt to stand out after all. There's one more extremely cool duo on this list. Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds? Well, they're probably the only ones on this list who aren't mistaken for their looks, but rather for their names. I guess you'll agree that they have only visual similarities they share are being tall, white actors. Point blank, period. People mainly mix them up because of their names. It's almost the same as if I got confused between Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, and Chris Pine. But this thing has been going on for so long that it's become a really classic joke.
This is in height order?
Yes. You don't get bonus points. Oh yeah.
Reynolds even managed to steal Gosling's limelight at the Golden Globe, kissing Andrew Garfield. They had agreed that if Reynolds won, he would kiss Garfield instead of his wife. But Gosling was the one who won. So it seems like Reynolds couldn't tell that it was another Ryan that had walked away with the Golden Globe.
It was a ridiculous thing. It was ridiculous.
Even Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, makes fun of the two of them. On her husband's birthday, Lively posted a picture of the two Ryans standing next to each other, but cropped the pic so that only Gosling was left, captioning it, "Happy birthday, baby." Well, while Reynolds tries to think about how to roast Gosling with one of his hilarious Deadpool jokes, let's move on to an iconic meme about a couple of iconic actors. Do you remember that 2015 dress, the one that looked either white and gold or blue and black, depending on who you asked? Well, did you know that Bill Murray and Tom Hanks started that massive "What do you see" prank? Well, I mean, indirectly, of course. A lady took a pic of Bill Murray and her son while they were both making crying faces in 2013. The internet exploded with comments that it was actually Tom Hanks. When you're asked who played Forrest Gump or Captain John Miller, I mean, everyone knows that that's Tom. There's no way you would confuse the two. But it only takes a change of facial expression or a similar haircut, and you really do start to wonder whether it's Tom or Bill in the pictures. I'm still not sure who I'm looking at in this picture with the baby. But no matter how you change the camera angle or their facial expressions, I think there's no way that Jesse Eisenberg and Michael Cera look alike. I still can't believe people can confuse them because of their looks. Jesse, the one who plays a magician in Now You See Me and screwed up the role of Lex Luthor in the DC Cinematic Universe, looks way older than Cera. Though, in reality, they're almost the same age. Cera has a much more round face and prominent nose by comparison. And now, we'll end our list with the most similar looking and least similar looking celebs that somehow still get mistaken for each other. I'll give you a couple of minutes to decide whether it's the same person in these pictures. If that's a real-life version of The Parent Trap or It Takes Two, I wouldn't be surprised if they were separated at birth or reunited at some drama school. Crazy resemblance, right? Though I'm even more surprised to find out that people confuse Nathan Fillion and Jeremy Renner? Nathan Fillion? Jeremy Renner. Is that even possible? But it seems that Fillion, the star of the Castle series, is fine with that, making jokes of it himself. On his Instagram, he posted this and captioned it, "This is as close as I got to Jeremy Renner this weekend." Oh yeah, because he doesn't even look that similar to Renner. Let me know which celebs look the most similar to you. Who are the top doppelgangers in Hollywood? And is there anyone that I remind you of? I mean, I used to get called Frodo at school because of my curly hair. Let me know in the comments below though. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. And check out our new channel, Awesome Movies, breaking down Easter eggs from your favorite movies and series.